States, headed by Mike Turner, the chairperson of the Permanent Committee of Intelligence Affairs in the U.S. House of Representatives. And he was heading, as I said, a high-ranking delegation from U.S. congressmen. The meeting was attended by the Intelligence Agency Chief, Major General Basseem, along with the acting U.S. Ambassador to Cairo. They discussed a number of issues of mutual concern. Well, to shed more light on the important visit, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone Her Excellency Ambassador Wafaa Basseem, former Deputy Foreign Minister. A very good morning to you, Ambassador Basseem.
Good morning to you and to all you telespectators.
Thank you, ma'am, for being with us. Well, regarding the visit of Mike Turner and his accompanying delegation, of course, we all know that Cairo and Washington are enjoying strategic partnership. And these days, you would find crises scattered all over the world, particularly in the Middle East. How do you see the keenness of the high-ranking American delegation to have their stop here in Egypt and to have their extended talks with of course, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, along with a number of high-ranking officials?
We can easily situate this visit and these meetings of high official representatives of the American Congress to Egypt during this week within the context of the excellent relations that do exist between Egypt and the United States. Having excellent relations do not mean that you have to see eye to eye all the time. It means that you can create a healthy partnership that allows cooperation, working together, exchange of views, and even in moments of differences on certain issues, it allows to explain each point of view and try to reach middle ground. But in this particular case, let's see how these visits of the highly representatives of the American Congress to Egypt, how it reflects the importance that these circles within the legislative system of the United States look at Egypt. They consider Egypt a pivotal point and main player within the region, especially at the level of security, exchange of information, of knowing the region very well, and being in the middle and sometimes in the forefront of the main crises that are facing the Middle East and Africa, the Mediterranean region in general.
Amen to that.
This is the second delegation at very high level, representative of the Congress and from the two parties that are that are the main political parties in the state.
Yes, Ambassador Basseem, and to echo what you have just said, presidential spokesperson Councillor Ahmed Fahmy said that among the important issues which were high on the agenda of talks is fighting terrorism. And the American side hailed the Egyptian way to fight terrorism and our success in eliminating this phenomenon from our land.
That was one of the topics that were discussed, and the Egyptian experience in this respect remains, let's say, an example to look at in the fighting of that phenomenon, which is keeping to spread in the whole world, taking different forms and having different roots and reasons. The concept of Egypt in combating terrorism through a comprehensive approach that does not really concentrate completely on the security approach and just eliminating the symptoms, which are the violence, the terrorist attacks on people and on establishment, but it goes beyond that to fighting the root causes of terrorism, whether
Yes.
ideological, whether financial, whether economic or social, and why do they sometimes take the shield of religious ideas.
Very
This
important also on the agenda of talks, Ambassador Basseem, where the Egyptian stances regarding many crises facing the Arab world or the Middle East, but on top of the list, it was the Palestinian cause. And the efforts exerted by Egypt to calm the situation in the Palestinian territories, in addition to the reconstruction process in Gaza, meaning that we are going, we do have steps in both directions in the very same time. Hello?
Yes, what is your question in this respect?
In this respect, I mean that the Egyptians are putting high once again the Palestinian cause, because now maybe the international community is just attracted to what's going on in Sudan, what's going on in the Russian-Ukrainian issue, but we are all the time saying that Palestine is going to be one of our main priorities. How do you see tackling this issue in specific with the American delegation, which had its important visit here?
Well, these issues have been taken up as main topics within the discussions of two consecutive American delegations coming from the part of the Congress with the representatives of the Democratic and Republican parties. We had one last week, and this is the second one. One had more of a political approach, which was the one of last week, but this one is more into information, exchange of information, exchange of points of view, and analysis of the situation, as you mentioned, whether on the European theater with the problem, the Ukrainian problem, or within the Middle East where we have many crises. As you said, the escalating violence in the Palestinian occupied territories, the efforts exerted by Egypt to calm the situation and to keep this pacification between the Palestinians and the Israelis as long as possible to allow for attempts to bring back the parties to the negotiating table, and at the same time, Egypt has clarified very strongly its point of view concerning the politics of colonization, the politics of exerting violence, of attacking the holy places
Sites
in Jerusalem. There is also the issue of Sudan, of course, and which is a very important topic, not only for Egypt, but the whole of Africa, and the following of all sides of the attempts to calm the situation in Sudan, to bring the two parties to a truce where humanitarian efforts can function for the very dire situation in Sudan and especially in Khartoum, and at the same time to allow for possibility of the two parties to sit together and to talk.
And because of that, Egypt or the foreign ministry released a statement hailing the preliminary talks which took place in Jeddah, and we all hoped, or we extended our hopes, that the talks are going to end with a permanent comprehensive ceasefire for the sake, or for the best interest of the Sudanese people. Well, Ambassador Basseem, when it comes to the Egyptian-American relations, they cover a lot of fields, and the American delegation, in their extended talks with the president, they also discussed the economic ties. And with the Russian-Ukrainian war, the developed and the developing countries are suffering from very negative economic repercussions. How we can guarantee that our economic ties, the increase of the volume of trade and deals between Egypt and the United States is going to be a win-win situation for both countries?
It comes through looking into the relation, and the economic relation in particular, as a partnership where both parties have to exert an effort and have to agree on the main points, the main elements which would make of this relation, as you said, a win-win situation. Of course, there are different and important areas that could be the field of very good coordination and cooperation. We're talking about energy, we're talking about industry, we're talking about attracting investment,
foreign direct investment
into Egypt. We are talking also part of the talks, and part, you cannot really call it economic, but it is part of the volume of exchange, which is the cooperation in the field of military industries and armed forces cooperation. There is also the volume of trade to be increased. We have many delegations that do and have to continue going to the U.S. to explore how to upgrade the relations in the established fields, but also to explore the possibilities of opening up new domains where the cooperation can take place. Also, the American side is always keen to follow up the facilities and the improving conditions of the investment environment, trade environment in Egypt, so they can see the many opportunities where they can invest and be also winners. And I think that will be a good cooperation leading to job creation, to using the fact that Egypt is deported to Comesa, to the African Free Trade Area, which is a very big market besides the Egyptian market, which amounts to 100 million of people.
Well, very well said, Ambassador Wafaa Basseem. Thank you very much for your input. Have a very good day. We were very much delighted to have with us via phone Her Excellency Ambassador Wafaa Basseem, former Deputy Foreign Minister, as we were shedding more light on the important visit by Mike Turner, the chairperson of the Permanent Committee on Intelligence Affairs in the U.S. House of Representatives, as he was accompanied by a high-ranking delegation from the U.S. Congress, and they had extended talks with President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, with the presence of Abbas Kamel, the chairperson of the intelligence agency, and John Rocha, the acting U.S. ambassador to Cairo, and they discussed a number of issues of mutual concern. And this is one of the other proofs that Egypt is a pivotal key player in the Middle East, and the key to Africa, to the Middle East, to the south of the Mediterranean, it's the destiny of Egypt to be all the time there on top of the list of the important key players in the region. Well, right after the short break, we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.